Hello and welcome to this episode of Drinkin with Dave. First off, I'd like to apologize for the lateness of the videos. I've had the flu for the last couple of weeks, and I haven't made that much progress in the brewing anyway. So I'll get back on track now. Though most of our beers have become ready, so I may get around to reviewing those. But first off, we are reviewing. Just got the cap here for you. We are reviewing Newcastle Brown Ale. Now it's been ages since I've had one of these. Primarily because you can't really get it in the south, in the Republic of Ireland. It's pretty tricky to get your hands on down here. So you only really get it when we go up to the north, and we don't do that very often, even though we are close, but we don't go to the north that often. But Eamon was up there recently and he managed to pick up some. First off, let's start with the visual inspection. When held up to light, an incredibly red pint. I mean, it's nice deep red all the way through. A garnet color. Very pleasant looking. But not held up to light, it looks kind of reddish brown. It's nice and clear. Carbonation looks good. There's the lacing there. There's nothing to write home about, neither is the head retention, though that may be, a symptom of the pour, which I wasn't very aggressive on the pour. So, on to the smell test. It's kind of a sweet, very sweet. There's a malty. There's not much in the way of hops from the smell. Nothing overtly hoppy standing out. A little roasty, maybe. I think there's a kind of a nut smell. Not like a peanut smell, but like it's a chestnut. That's what I was thinking of. The chestnutty kind of smell. But mostly it's kind of it's mostly sweet and malty. Yeah, it's not a lot in the way of hops. It's usually you get your ale hops or your pale ale hops or stuff like that. But no, there's not much of that. Just seems to be mainly mostly a roasty sweetness, like toffee. Maybe it's a little toffee. Yeah, that kind of smokiness you can get off toffee sometimes. That richness you get off toffee, the soft toffee, that kind of stuff. Something like that. Anyway, let's taste this. I do love this beer. For how infrequently I drink it, I do really like it. You can see the lacing there. Usually the more hops there are, the better the lacing is, so this must be, fairly low on the hops, this beer. It's very good, very tasty. I should describe what it tastes like. Yeah, there's more of that roastiness. There's kind of a root kind of a taste. Not like a ginger taste, but like there's a root. It tastes like roots, kind of. What else? What else? Very nicely carbonated. The mouthfeel is good. It's not particularly oily. So I think there's a fairly low presence of hops in this beer. It's very nice. I mean, they sell a lot of this over in the States. Sell a lot of it in California. In fact, I've seen it in more places in California than I have in Northern Ireland. So there's that for you. But it definitely tastes better here than it does there. I don't really know what to say about it in regards to taste. I mean, it just tastes good. I mean, probably because I've had so much of it in the past that just I can't seem to break through to what it actually tastes like. I know that it tastes good. I have two of these. I have a 1 liter German beer glass, and every Christmas day it's got 2 Newcastle Browns in it with my dinner, my Christmas dinner. So very fond of this beer. Very pleasant. I do enjoy this. Now on to this week in brewing. Now this week in brewing, or rather in the last couple of weeks in brewing, I've been doing a fair amount of stuff, but mostly what's been happening is that stuff has been bottle conditioning or demijohn conditioning. The longest brew we've ever had, the longest start to finish between, you know, putting it in the fermenter and then drinking it out of a bottle, is the Cooper's Dark Ale, the second brew we did. We started that on the 25th of September 2011, so quite a while ago. Then we put it in the demijohns on the 29th of September. It was a fairly quick ferment. It was, you know, 4 or 5 days. Fairly quick ferment. 23 liters of water. Used spray malt light in it, 1 kilogram of that, 23 degrees throughout. But we put it in the demijohns on the 29th of September. We bottled it on the 24th of October, and we didn't taste it until the 7th of November. So this was in the demijohns in the fermenter in the bottles for quite a while. I think it was 7 or 8 weeks from start to finish. The final gravity was about 4.5–5%. The beer is incredible. I mean, we're going, the next episode of Drinking with Dave, I'm going to be drinking the Cooper's Dark Ale that was in the demijohns, and if you can get your hands on demijohns, use them. Time and patience in homebrewing, it seems, even with just a little extra effort, can give you incredible results. So definitely would suggest the demijohns. The next brew that we did in the interim was we brewed the Cooper's English Bitter. This was Eamon's idea for his Christmas beer, and it's turned out very well. The date of brewing was the 9th of October, and then the date of bottling was the 18th of October. So it was a 9-day ferment. We didn't use any demijohns or anything, but it's turned out quite nicely. We used 500 grams of sugar this time because we were interested to see how much can you really control the alcohol content based on your sugar content, and we got it down to about 4.1%. So if your beers are turning out with alcohol that's too high, use spray malt light and half it. That's a definite way to cut down on your alcohol content, because sometimes you don't want you know, crazy boozy stuff. You don't want a 7.2%. Sometimes you just want a 3.5, 4. The next is the Scottish style heavy ale, which is in the siphoning videos that I did. That's still currently in the demijohns. We brewed that on the 19th of October and then put it in the demijohns on the 24th, so that was a 6-day ferment, and then into secondary. It's probably going to be in secondary for about a month, and then we'll taste that. The approximate percentage of alcohol in that is 3.6 to 4.1. We don't really have the true final yet for the heavy because it's in the demijohns. It's probably going to eat a little bit more of that sugar. Not a lot though, but probably some. And then the most recent brew we did, which we bottled yesterday, is another Cooper's Dark Ale, because that seems to be incredibly popular. The Cooper's Dark Ale, with pretty much everybody we go to, if we bring them a dark ale, they love it. And I think especially if we go to them with the dark ale that's been in the demijohns, they're really going to love it. It's exceptional homebrew. We went with 24 liters on this one to see could we cut the alcohol content that way, and we could. We used 1 kilo of spray malt light. Now it was a very low fermentation temperature. It was about 19 degrees throughout, and occasionally we had to bump it up to 22, but it was 26th of October was the date of the brew, and the date of the bottling was the 12th of November. I think it was about, you correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here, but I think it was about 15 or 16 days it was in the fermenter. So that was a long ferment because it was so cold. It was, you know, 19 degrees. Usually you want to be brewing about 22 to 25, especially if it's an ale. But it was done at 19. That might be a good temperature for doing your lagers, but 19 was a little low for the ale. The original gravity and the final gravity actually were fine, and the approximate percentage of alcohol is 4.4 to about 4.8%. So it's, you know, reasonably strong without being crazy. If we wanted to add, it's usually a 40-pint kit, so it's 23 liters of water that you add in. We added an extra liter of water, partially because you always lose a little bit to hydrometer testing and stuff, but we thought, how much could we remove from the alcohol content by adding a little extra water? And it turns out we can remove about 0.1 or 0.2%, so it's not a huge amount. You're better off, if you want to cut your alcohol content, just use less sugar. the rest of what we'll be doing this week is we'll be brewing a bock. My father lives up in Coal Island, and he's got some wine drinking buddies who make their own wine, and they were all very taken with his bock, which is a German black lager with a raspberry taste on it. I've reviewed it before. You can click on that link above me right there. But what you could do is go there and in the search bar just type in a bock, and you'll get my bock review on one of the Drinkin with Dave. So if you want to know how the bock turned out, the bock that we're making now, just go to the review. It is very sweet, this Newcastle brown. I'm having trouble placing the sweetness. It does seem like a, I don't know, red licorice maybe, something like that. Yeah, red licorice. Malt's generally what your beer's made of, so it's pretty sweet anyway. But lovely colour, this beer. Lovely taste. It's an interesting change, I find, because usually you got lager, and you got the Lek I tasted, and cheap stuff, and then you get a nice Newcastle brown ale, which is a lot closer to the source here than we are in California, obviously. But it's very nice for a change. Definitely would suggest, if you get your hands on some Newcastle brown ale, do it. It's, even if you're just even if it is in America and you're replacing your Miller or your Pabst, not that I don't like those beers, but if you're just replacing those with this, just do it for a change. It's nice. I will see you on the next episode of Drinkin with Dave.